The first step to any historical correction is enabling edits for that employee. This step can only be done by the timekeeper. So the timekeeper will find the employee on the list, select the employee's name, and then go to the approval command, click on the drop-down, and select Enable Edits. A warning window comes up and you click on the Yes command, and that completes the process, although it doesn't look like anything has happened. If you then go to the employee's time card, you will see that if it was already open, it doesn't look like anything's happened, that everything is still grayed out, the plus and X boxes over on the left are not available. But if I click on the refresh command, now the pluses and the X's on the left are available, which is what tells me that I can edit this time card. In this scenario, this employee has leave washing that did not get fixed before the sign-off occurred. The employee took some leave on Thursday afternoon, but then worked some additional time on Friday and had actually worked a little bit of additional time earlier in the week as well. So the employee ended up with 39 hours and 15 minutes of hours physically worked, plus 4 hours of sick leave, and that gave the employee 3 hours and 15 minutes of sick leave that did not need to be used. So what we're going to do here is we're going to correct that leave usage. The first step is to add a line. So I'm going to click on the plus sign, and then in the pay code column on that blank line, what I'm going to do is click on the drop down and select the type of leave that was used to fulfill the original leave request. So in Kronos land, the top line of the sick leave request or the leave request, whatever it is the type of leave that was requested, in this case, sick self-cascade, and then the second line shows how the system fulfilled it. If this employee were out of sick leave, then it would cascade to other types of leave that the policies allow to be used in this type. In this case, it's using sick leave employee. So I'm going to click on the drop down. I'm going to type in the word sick to get me down to the relevant part, and then I'm going to click on sick leave employee. Then I'm going to click into the amount column, and I'm going to deduct 3 hours and 15 minutes because that's the amount of leave that does not need to be used. So I'm going to put in a minus sign and then 3 hours colon 15. And then I'm going to click on the tab key to get out of this cell. And what happens is the system goes ahead and processes the leave request. It does a couple of things. It moves things around as it likes to do. It puts a little black dot on the date, Thursday, January 16th, to show that this is when the historical correction occurred. If I look at the historical corrections tab down at the bottom, I can see that there is a historical correction that has been made. The pending box is still checked to show that I haven't saved my work yet. On this line, it tells me the type of edit that was made and the pay code that was involved in the action, and it tells me who made the edit and when they made it. So all of that stuff is correct. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. And once I've clicked on Save, what happens on the Historical Corrections tab is that little pending check goes away because I've saved this. If I look again at the Totals tab, now what I'm going to see is the employee only used 45 minutes of sick leave plus 39 hours and 15 minutes physically worked to get up to 40 for the week. The last piece of the historical corrections process is understanding what it looks like on the time card for the current week. So I'm going to go to the current schedule period. And then on the Totals tab down at the bottom, there's a new icon over on the right-hand side, and we call it the eyeball. If you click on the eyeball, you can see that you can choose to see all totals, which will include the historical correction. That's why there's a negative 3 hours and 15 minutes of sick leave right now. I can select and only show corrections, so that's going to show me my negative 3 hours and 15 minutes. Or I can select no corrections at all. Because this employee hasn't logged any time yet this week, there's no data to display. The default is to show all totals, which can sometimes be confusing for employees and supervisors. When they look at the totals tab, they see sick leave on there, but there's nothing on the time card itself to indicate sick leave usage. So remember to look, when you see something that confuses you, look in the upper right, see if that eyeball is there, click on the drop down and select no corrections and see what happens. So that concludes the making of this particular historical correction. The employee's time card will remain in that unlocked state until the pay period close is completed for this current pay period. And otherwise, the employee should continue logging time, submitting leave, doing whatever needs to be done, and the historical correction is complete.